Harry, this is Lord Potato, and this is What If Naruto was the reincarnation of Karma Akabane. So this is part 4 of it, and not part 4, part 5, and this is, well, another month for me to just wait until the month's over, and go into this again after another couple of months pass. Yeah, I just realized that every single part that I made of this What If is like in different months, so yeah, I should probably finish this. I should probably stop like not being lazy as fucking doing this. But yeah. So of course I need to finish this in probably part 7 or part 6. I don't know. But let me go into the What If. So I'm not gonna do a recap. If you wanted to know what happened last time, too the fuck back because that was a month ago. I don't know if anyone is still watching this. I'm surprised. I'm kind of surprised still a bunch of people watch this because, yeah, I think just people are annoyed the fact that I'm so damn lazy that I barely make this What If. But yeah. But other than that, let me to part 5. Also, before I go on any further, go subscribe to Anime Sensei, Iconic What Ifs, and, well, Obito What Ifs. Their links will be in the description. My second channel will also be in the description, so don't annoy me about asking for second channel link or whatever. I don't think you really would care, but yeah. So, of course, there will always be in the description. I would try to put them always in the description, but yeah. Because I have nothing in the description. It's always just blank. I might just put potato for no fucking reason in there, but other than that, let's go into the part 5. So, we go into the final tuning exam. This is where Naruto, he was asleep for about, well, 1 week, and then after that 1 week of resting, he kind of started training as hard as he can to perfect the flying Raijin and other techniques. Now, I should mention one thing. His lightning is red. His fire is kind of a crimson red. Naruto found out that his, well, infinity chakras are kind of different from a normal standard. His water style is actually a deep sea color blue. Like, I would say kind of royal blue or like deep sea, like deep blue. But I'm gonna just say deep blue, okay? Of course, his fire is kind of crimson red. His lightning is actually red instead of being gold or even, well, blue. And, well, he also does have an affinity to explosion because, yeah. Also, for his, what's it called, wind style, it's actually a very dark gray that he found out he had. Now, the only element that he doesn't actually use or have exactly is herb style. And, fire style, you get the point. He's gonna burn things down to the ground and other things. He's a menace to society half the time. So, yeah. So, we go into Naruto. After Naruto kind of improving those, he also improves his taijutsu and his speed. So, this is where Naruto, I should have mentioned, but Naruto's speed is not just because of his, well, training. It's because he also has gravity seals around, well, his body. Mostly around his arms and legs. But, yeah. Of course, this is where Naruto also went to Higarashi's shop for that 1 month to buy himself a vest underneath him. Now, this vest is heavy as fuck. Like, if you try to remove it, it's gonna be heavy as fuck. Now, it kind of looks like a flimsy vest. This vest is kind of like a kind of black and red. But, of course, it looks like it's made out of chain armor, kind of. But this shit's heavy as hell. It's not because it's made out of a strong material, which it is, but the material is kind of light at the same time for Naruto. Anyone else holding this will kind of just break their arm in an instant. But yeah. But of course, not the point. It has seals that Naruto puts to put gravity seals. So he will be strong enough. So yeah. Naruto is taking as much precaution for this, well, final exam. The reason why is because, well, he does have memories of his past life. Karma does. Well, of Karma Akabane. Because the reason why he did not do great in an exam like his past life. If you don't remember that one episode where Karma kind of like became lazy and didn't do anything, didn't study, and kind of got worse grades than the others, that would be like that. That's why Naruto in this one is actually trained. He doesn't want to do the same mistake. He doesn't want to be somewhat of a laughing crowd a little bit. But yeah. So of course, this is where Naruto does take precautions. Now Naruto, he actually met Jiraiya, and Jiraiya wanted to train Menma, but something happens. Fugaku, he didn't let what's it called Menma be trained by Jiraiya. The reason why is because they thought Jiraiya was just some homeless man managed to get into the Uchiha clan. Which, they are not wrong. Not really, okay. Jiraiya just wanted to train Menma, but Menma refused because he just wanted to train with the Uchihas mostly. I mean, he really doesn't know who the hell Jiraiya is. Now, of course, Jiraiya tried to find Naruto in this 1 month, but every time he tried, going in the forest where Naruto was last seen, Naruto knew that he was being followed. Of course, hiding his presence and being actually training chakra stuff. Hiding away from Jiraiya. Now, Jiraiya could barely sense him. Like, he thought he sensed Naruto, but Naruto was mostly focusing and actually hiding his presence from a sign. Because he saw that this was actually great practice. Now, of course, Jiraiya, he could never find, Naruto. He thought he could find Naruto, but then found out that Naruto was basically training, or using him as a test dummy. He just realized that. Every time he gets close, Naruto disappeared and went to another spot. So, yeah. Of course, where Jiraiya is shocked to even know that Naruto is going to be using him as a training dummy. Mostly not to attack and all that, but mostly to kind of use as like a stealth training. So yeah, every time Jiraiya tried to find him, because of the chakra link, the leak of chakra, it gets better and better over time. So of course, that's what Jiraiya is actually thinking. And he's not wrong. Naruto's actually using him as a training dummy to kind of get his chakra stealth to the maximum point. Now, of course, Naruto's also talking to Kurama, and Kurama is telling him the best ways to kill people. Naruto is smiling and saying, yeah, that is true. Now, of course, Naruto also does train in his Kenjutsu in this 1 month, so yeah. Now, if you forgot, Naruto has a sword called a Red Reaper. Yes, it is this sword that has 3 transformations. It can transform, the first sword, it will be a Red Reaper. This kind of blade. Well, not Red Reaper. It'll kind of be like similar to a Red Reaper a little bit. And then it will become a long sword, and then actually into like a kind of long thin blade. And so, yeah. So, of course, this is where we go into Naruto. After the 1 month. Naruto's now in the final Chunin exam, and, he is getting ready to, fight against his opponent. His opponent is, I think I never mentioned who his opponent was, so his opponent would be first Gaara from the Sand. So yeah. Since I forgot to mention, Rock Lee would still lose against Gaara, but yeah. Of course, this is where, everyone managed to get there and all gets ready. Now, of course, Orochimaru is not attacking the village because Orochimaru is dead. And even, Kabuto. Now, Shiroi didn't go back to the, not Leaf Village, the Sound Village, because she didn't care. And of course, her 2 teammates didn't go neither because they don't want to. So, yeah. Of course, this is where, Naruto, he's getting ready. He's, stretching his legs. And, of course, he sees, his both teammates, kind of 2 new teammates. One name is, Kaya, and the other one is named Reincarnation. Of course, they actually were kind of getting ready, but yeah. Now, Shiroi is in the stage just watching, and she's kind of betting her money on Naruto to kind of win this. Some people are betting on Sasuke Uchiha because he was a prodigy. People are actually betting on Savannah. Yeah, Savannah. Savannah Hyuga not Uzumaki. Savannah Hyuga Uchiha, who's basically Naruto teasing, but yeah. Some people actually bet on Naruto because they know Naruto's a pretty much a prodigy, the strongest prodigy, well, not strongest, the most overpowered and smartest prodigy in this generation. Hiruzen even has a bet that Naruto's gonna win. He even bets because he kind of tell the the Kazekage is still here, and even the Raikage. The Kazekage has not seen Orochimaru, and is still kind of do the evasion because he knows that maybe Orochimaru will show up late or something like that. But yeah. Now, of course, this is where Hiruzen is talking to the Raikage, saying that Naruto's gonna win this, so he bet on that. And of course, this is where the Raikage says, "Oh, you're so sure about that kid being able to win against, well, my what's it called? Ninjas? Well, not ninjas." So you see here, the Raikage realized that all his ninjas are gone. Well, kind of down, but yeah. But of course, this is where, well, this is where the Raikage says, "Oh, really? Do you think that kid is gonna win?" This is where, well, the Kazekage says, perhaps my son, I will bet that my son will win against this Naruto Uzumaki. Now, of course, this is where Naruto, he's the first match to go up, and he's going against Gaara. Now, of course, everyone is kind of relieved that they're not going against Naruto first, and they have kind of seen that. And of course, Gaara gets ready. He uses his sand just to get ready, and Shikaku screaming at him, saying, "Come on, let's do this!" Well, not Shikaku. I think in this what if I kind of did make that Naruto kind of steal Shikaku away, so yeah. So of course, Gaara can sleep peacefully. And of course, where, well, Gaara just gets ready, and Shikaku's kind of trying to scream at Gaara, but cannot get anywhere near what's called to kind of make Gaara kind of try to kill Naruto. So this is where Gaara kind of uses the sand around him to make himself a dome so Naruto wouldn't attack. So of course, this is where he can only practice in defense and not attack because he can't tell if Naruto's faster than Rock Lee or what's it called, less fast than what's called Rock Lee. So Gaara really didn't kill Rock Lee on this one because yeah. So the homie Rock Lee is still kind of alive. So yeah. Of course, this is where Naruto, he breathes in and then out, and then he just appears from everyone's view, appearing right next to what's it called, Gaara, or behind Gaara, sand defense. This is where Naruto pulls out his red sword and slices it at it, cutting through it and seeing Gaara. Gaara was shocked. This is where he kind of uses sand to try to grab Naruto. This is where Naruto, he jumped away, and of course, this is where, well, Naruto says, "You're pretty fast, Gaara. That fast reaction. Have you been training?" This is where everyone is kind of horrified if they go against Naruto. If they win their match and Naruto doesn't lose against anyone else, they are horrified to go against Naruto. Because Naruto's speed has increased. And of course, this is where Naruto, he starts kind of dodging sand attacks. Like sand whips and all that. And of course, Naruto's running towards Gaara to punch him in the face, and of course he's dodging sand whips and all. And of course, this is where Naruto, he jumps over a sand whip, ducks also under, kind of keeps running, dodging all that, and almost gets hit. But this is where Naruto pulls his sword off his what's it called back and slices one of the sand whips. So yeah, he just slices it through it, keeps running, and punches Gaara in the face, in the cheek. This is where Gaara kind of smashes into his own sand domain, his own sand dome. And of course, this is where he smashes out of the sand dome. And of course, this is where, well, he then kind of gets up and sends multiple sand spikes at Naruto. This is where Naruto, he sees this is where multiple sand attacks are going towards him. Naruto goes to hand signs. He goes really fast to hand signs and says, "Fire style. Fire Phoenix." This is where he sent a Fire Phoenix. But this is where the Uchihas, because they are there, widen their eyes. Itachi even widened his eyes. A red phoenix appeared and burned through almost all the sand spikes, turning them into glass spikes. This is where Gaara widened his eyes and had to duck. He was like, "What the hell?" He turned them all into glass. And why is that fire red? This is where all of them widened their eyes. Every person that was just thinking Naruto only had an explosion infinity. So people just thought, oh shit, we just gotta not be close to Naruto if he had an explosion infinity. When they saw that Red Phoenix, everyone pissed himself. They're like, eat. This is where Tomari and Conqueror goes, This is where the Kazekage goes, good. This is where Hiruzen almost also kind of like, he was drinking tea and he was about to spit out because he saw red crimson flames come out from Naruto. And the Red Kage says, that kid has a high infinity to fire, doesn't he? This is where Hiruzen says, last time I seen him, he didn't use any goddamn chakra. Any goddamn jutsus. If that's what you're hiding, brat, I'm gonna make sure that you show me all your damn jutsus. So yeah, Hiruzen didn't even know about this, and Jiraiya was also there widening his eyes when he saw that. That's where Naruto appears right in front of Gaara, and knee him right in the face. This is where Gaara gets smashed into the wall, but of course his sand is coming towards him, and of course this is where he actually agreed with Shikaku to kind of be friends and helping each other. So, of course, this is where, well, Gaara is actually going into a half transformation of Shikaku. Not into like a berserk one where Shikaku is going to try to take control of him and kind of have this murderous intent, but not really. This is where Gaara kind of covers himself up with the sand. And of course, this is where Kazekage says, good, Gaara's going to use something like this. This is where Gaara doesn't like go into this transformation, but instead goes and makes sand armor around him, like a sand knight. Okay, so the sand armor is actually going to be like armor. Similar to that, like, okay. So this is what was called Gaara's armor would kind of look like. It would be like a sand armor, like something to protect him. Now, the reason why he thought of this, because he needed defense. He needed something to be stronger in defense. So this is what he's been training on. He didn't want to use like a Shikaku Berserk shape because that would still give him a bunch of weakness and easier to be a hit target. So of course he decided to go into defense. This sand armor is still incomplete for, well, Gaara. And can actually take too much chakra. That's why he asked Shikaku to, well, help mostly. So, of course, the sand around him is kind of being transformed into the Shikaku color one. So, having kind of purple lines and all that. While, well, Gaara kind of, both of his eyes, well, one eye is actually the Shikaku eye. While the other one is just kind of the green eye color. But, of course, it's Shikaku. Like, it's a Shikaku eye pattern. But, of course, it's not golden. So, of course, this is when Gaara does make a, well, not shield. He, like, pulls out a sword made out of sand. This hard sand, and of course, it's a long katana. And this is where he gets ready to fight against Naruto. Naruto smiles and says, oh, I guess we're fighting in armor and also weapons. Well, I don't really have armor, so I'll fight you in Kenjutsu. Naruto pulls out his sword and gets ready to fight against, well, Gaara. Gaara says, he's not really talking. And this is where Naruto says, oh, not a talker. Fine, I'll go after you then. This is where Naruto appears right in front of what's called Gaara, swinging his blade, but this is where Gaara managed to block it. Now, of course, how does Gaara know Kenjutsu? Well, Gaara kind of asked Baki for kind of Kenjutsu help. Now, Baki didn't know, well, does Baki use a sword? No, Baki doesn't use a sword. Baki doesn't know much about Kenjutsu, but of course, Baki teach him as the best he can. Because he knew about someone who actually used Kenjutsu before in, well, the Sand Village. And of course, this is where it was a legendary warrior that was actually with the second Kazekage. Now, I think the second Kazekage was someone that can use Iron Sand, or was it the third? It was the third Kazekage. Now, this is where this legendary warrior was actually a samurai, and does explain to Gaara that this person was pretty good in using what's it called, his armor and sword. So, of course, that's why Gaara based it on a legendary sand warrior. That was mostly a samurai, but can actually use jutsus. So yeah. Of course, this is where he keeps kind of fighting against Naruto, blocking Naruto's strikes every time. But this is where some strikes manage to get through and hit Gaara. But of course, it hits Gaara's like sand armor, and it does cut it a little bit. like only a little bit. And Naruto widened his eyes, seeing that the armor is pretty strong and pretty durable, and also can regen because it's kind of a mixture of with Shikaku's chakra. So it's kind of like skin armor at the same time. So you know how Shikaku can kind of regen his kind of limbs a little bit because it's kind of made out of sand, so that's what it does. So of course, this is where Naruto he jumps back and he goes through hand signs, and he knows that there isn't like water around or anything, and he says water style, water hydra. He shoots a giant hydra attack from his mouth because he uses the moisture around him. He kind of learned that the second Hokage can also use water with the moisture around him. So of course he does that, and this is where Gaara widens his eyes, and this is where Gaara kind of like uses his sword to hit the ground really fast to kind of stab into the ground, and this is where he says sand style. When he kind of hit the sword into the ground, he clapped his hands together, saying, he kind of went sand style, sand wall. This is where a sand wall erupted really fast, and the water attack was a deep sea blue color. So of course it smashes into the sand wall, kind of almost turning all of it into a kind of soggy sand, like a wet sand type. This is where, Gaara managed to jump away, but of course his movement is slower because this armor is heavy, so of course he's trying to been, in this 1 month, he's been trying to get his strength up and not just rely on his, sand stuff. Because he knew that he was going against Naruto, and that was the most terrible opponent that he could go against. So of course, he's still trying to give a good match towards Naruto, even though he knows he's gonna lose. So of course, the water busts through the sand wall, and this is where Gaara is widening his eyes. This is where Shikaku is saying, "This is a bad kid. Just keep having focus and concentration." Now, of course, Gaara did have his sand sword before kind of like jumping away, but yeah. Of course, this is where Naruto says, "So, Gaara, you really have been training and have learned other things than just your sand abilities." I guess we should really, kind of make this go up a level, don't you think? This is where, Gaara is saying, "What do you mean, Naruto?" Naruto says, "Oh, I've been just playing with you, and I actually wanted to see if I can use my water style to get through your sand defenses, and I can." This is where Naruto is smiling kind of creepily, like this. And of course, this is where, Gaara kind of is unnerved with Naruto's speech talking. Well, not speech talking. He's kind of talking. And of course, some people are unnerved also. And this is where Naruto says, "Well, your Kenjutsu is decent. Your, armor is decent. It can regen anytime I try to strike at it." Now, of course, the Kazekage is shocked to see this kind of like armor nightstand when Gaara showed it first. Of course, the Kazekage thought of that legendary sand warrior. Now, he is shocked that the Shikaku is actually willing to help Gaara instead of trying to make him go insane. So, of course, the Kazekage, he can't, do the evasion because, Gaara is not insane. And of course, is where, Naruto, he then says, "But let's kind of put this up a notch, don't you think, Gaara?" This is where Gaara kind of gets nervous. And this is where Naruto says, "Let's see how fun this will be when it rains, don't you think?" This is where Gaara is unnerved as much as he can. And of course, this is where Naruto, he shoots fire attacks up in the air to make rain, to kind of make the moisture kind of go around, so like the heat and the cold to kind of make clouds, and natural rain started kind of pouring down. That's where Gaara started trying to use the sand to try to, block the rain from hitting his armor. So of course, it won't even kind of like be damaged, but of course it will take too much chakra. This is where some of his like sand is going down because it's kind of getting wet and becoming way too soggy for him to actually lift up. And of course, this is where Naruto says, "So, Gaara, do you think I should take this up more of a notch?" This is where, Gaara is looking at Naruto. well, not distraught. Yeah, pure distraught in his face when he looks up at Naruto. And Naruto was on top of the wall. This is where Naruto, he has his, hand coated in red lightning. And something comes out of, the sky. Now, no, this is not the dragon. He kind of will make the dragon later. But this is a red lightning phoenix. This is where, Naruto created this kind of being a kind of lower version than that of, the dragon, the Kirin dragon, because he can use it. But this phoenix with a car had other smaller birds around the sky and all. So, of course, this is where Naruto says, let's see if he can take this lightning strike. Don't you think, Gaara? Gaara widens his eyes and says, wait. This is where, Gaara, he smashes his sword to the ground and goes through one-handed signs because, he's right now panicking, and he just says, sand style, sand dome. This is where, even though the sand was still getting kind of soggy because of the rain, he was kind of panicking. He was putting so much chakra into that, dome, making it as strong as he can do. Make it. Of course, the armor is still kind of deteriorating because of the water. But this is where, a dome actually appears. And this is where Naruto sends the phoenix and all the smaller birds to kind of go at what's it called. Gaara. When the bird hits Gaara's dome, it actually shatters it. And the smaller birds hits Gaara multiple times. This is where Gaara was getting electricity as much. He was getting so much lightning. And since the sand is actually having metal inside, it was even a worse case. Because Gaara was getting electricity to almost death, okay? Electric to death. He was actually just feeling so much of the lightning in his body. When the lightning was all over and the water was still kind of pouring a little bit. This is where Gaara was standing. But this is where, Gaara's eyes were kind of blank. And this is where his sand armor just started crumbling all off his body. This is where Gaara, he said, no, he was trying to say, no, I can't let this attack defeat me. My sister, my brother, he thinks of them because, yes, he has become more friendly towards what they call his sister and his brother. And Tomari and Conqueror has become more friendly with Gaara. But this is where Gaara, he passes out. Of course, he was still standing, which it was a shocking thing to see Gaara was still standing and was not on the ground. But of course, before he can even fall, this is where Naruto catches him. That's where Naruto says, sorry about that, Gaara. But I had to end this match real quick. I had to show everyone that I was still stronger than them. Even if they trained for a million years. Those are Gaara says, fuck you. So yeah, his last words were fuck you. Because he knew that he was not going to pass against Naruto. And Naruto is strong. Now, of course, Naruto did kind of use a very powerful jutsu, and he does need to replenish. So, of course, he will be replenishing with what's called Kurama's health. So, of course, everyone is shocked. The daimyos, the Hokage, the Kages mostly, and the daimyos, the Kages, the ninjas, were all damn shocked with Naruto's power. Going against what's called Sen kid named Gaara. And especially him being a Jinchuriki, he is knocked out. This is where Tomari jumps down and says, Gaara, what did you do to him? That's where Naruto was taking out the lightning from his body. Because yes, Gaara still had lightning in his body. And of course, this is where Naruto didn't want Gaara to die. So of course, he's taking out the lightning. He's using a kind of, he's kind of turning his one arm into lightning. And kind of using it as a kind of conductor to kind of pull out the lightning from Gaara. And kind of turn it, bringing the lightning towards him. Which kind of gives him chakra anyway. And of course, this is where he's doing that. But of course, he does have his leg on the ground to kind of discharge the lightning from his body also. Do not have that much lightning. So, of course, this is where, Tomari says, let go of my brother. This is where Naruto says, sorry about that, Tomari-chan. This is where Tomari blushes and says, well, huh? This is where Naruto smiles and says, well, good luck in taking care of your little brother. Sorry about that. This is where he says, also, hey, makeup guy, why do you still have makeup? You know, you look like a little bitch with that. This is where Kankuro kind of just growls at Naruto, and Naruto laughs and walks away. Next match will be, well, Sasuke Uchiha versus Uzumaki Menma. So begin. This is where Menma and Sasuke still kind of fights. Well, not still fight. They kind of fight because, yeah, they're matched up together. And of course, this is where Sasuke kind of tries to kick what's called Menma in the head, while Menma blocks it and tries to also kick Sasuke in the head because they're kind of synchronized and actually fighting. They're both fighting, so kind of like synchronized, kind of punching and kicking at each other, blocking at the same time, which is shocking a lot of people, seeing that what's it called, their teamwork is the best, while also time their fighting skills are also pretty good with each other. Seeing that what's it called, they are equally matched in strength, because yes, they were trained by Itachi, but mostly what's it called, Fugaku, Itachi were training what's it called, Sasuke. While Menma was also being trained by Itachi and Fugaku, but also some other Uchiha were training Menma. So to kind of like change up their fighting style, so they want to be kind of similar. Sasuke is specialized in speed, of course. He's specialized in kind of fighting in speed. While they saw Menma is also similar towards what's called fighting in speed, but also kind of fighting in flexibility. So of course, flexibility and kind of strength. Well, not like strength. He was kind of fighting in flexibility. So of course they see that Menma is a prodigy, but not as like what's it called, as potent and strong as well Naruto is, and how powerful his chakra and everything is. But of course, with what's it called, Menma doing that kind of training flexibility, he was also trained with the other Kurama. The other Kurama is the good half and is actually willing to help Menma in a kind and nice way, while the other one is trying to tell Naruto how to kill people. So yeah, of course is where, well, Menma is doing that, and of course he is like using his body to flex, flexible to kind of dodge half the punches from Sasuke and uppercut Sasuke in the what's called jawline. And of course, this is where Sasuke, he managed to kick Menma before he, well, kind of got lifted up from the ground. So he kicks, what's it called, Menma, like, in the, like, well, in the face before kind of going up in the air. And of course, this is where Sasuke does a backflip and lands on the ground. And this is where, well, Menma does the same. And of course, he gets rolled to the ground. This is where Menma says, Earth Style, Earth Spikes. This is where he sends multiple Earth Spikes at Sasuke. Sasuke kind of jumps away and says, Fire Style, Fireball. He says Fireball. He sent a Fireball at what's it called, Menma. This is where Menma kind of goes through hand size and kind of says, Water Style, Water Gun. Now, of course, Menma has Earth, Water, and even Fire because of Kurama. And, yeah, that's the only three elements he has. While Sasuke has Fire, Lightning, and, well, Earth. You know what? I'm just going to say he has Earth also. So, of course, where, well, the water kind of hits the fire, and of course, the one who actually managed to pass through was Sasuke's fire. And this is where Menma's water attack is, well, not water attack. His water infinite is not as strong because, well, Kurama couldn't really teach him much, and some of the Uchihas could not really teach him. There were some that actually teach him, but they weren't as, like, very potent as Naruto's water style. And that's what Menma's water style is, actually just a normal kind of bluish color. Well, it's a, let me show you. Now, what's called Menma's, like, what's it called, watercolor, it is actually like a kind of lightish blue, like a very lightish blue. And of course, when both fire and water collided, the water was not strong enough because he didn't put enough chakra. Now, of course, this is where the fireball was almost about to hit him until Menma managed to jump away and throw shurikens at, well, Sasuke in fast speed. Because, well, Menma also has, what's it called? He has water, earth, and fire, and he added fire chakra into the shurikens, making them go faster, but also have a fire flame attack onto Sasuke. Sasuke saw this, and of course he goes to go through hand signs, and of course his hand develops into lightning and says lightning star, lightning sembons hits the shurikens away, and of course sends multiple lightning sembons at Menma. When Sasuke was on the air anyway, he was on the air because of the fireball he sent at Menma. And of course, this is where Menma, he was about to get hit by lightning sembons until he goes to fast hand signs and says earth tile, earth wall. And makes an earth wall and then kind of like goes underground. And this is where Sasuke is confused. Well, not confused. He's kind of waiting for what's called Menma to kind of come from that wall and attack him. It's kind of dead silent for a couple of minutes. This is where Sasuke was about to rush and what's called the earth wall to jump over and kind of hit Menma because he thinks that Menma's kind of thinking too long. Taking a little bit too long. And of course, this is where, he was kind of rushing until Menma, he noticed what's called Sasuke was above him and decided to burst out from the ground, uppercutting what's called Sasuke. Now, of course, Sasuke was shocked to see what's called Menma uppercut him from the ground. This is where he kind of goes up in the air. This is where Menma, he kind of like puts both of his legs down in the ground, firm in the ground, and grabs both of Sasuke's legs and throws him at the wall. That's where Sasuke managed to flip over and actually managed to land on the wall, putting chakra, and he's saying, "Pretty good, Menma. You really became stronger in this 1 month." That's what Menma says. "Not bad yourself, Sasuke." This is where both boys are right now kind of getting excited because, this is going to be a good fight. Unlike the fight they're actually, if any of them win, going against the call. Naruto is going to be hell. Menma knows that he isn't going to die as worse as anyone else if he manages to win. And if he's going against Naruto, because Naruto will literally just give up. Naruto's that much of a good brother, he's just going to give up. And of course, that's what Menma's always angry. He doesn't like Naruto just giving up on a fight with him. Because Naruto knows that he does not like hurting his little brother. So, of course, this is where, Naruto, he kind of, is saying, "Go, Menma, go, Menma, go, Menma," in the crowd. And of course, this is where Menma is hearing his name being shouted by his brother. And of course, everyone is seeing Naruto being cheerful. He's like, "Go, Menma, go, Menma." This is where Jiraiya is seeing the, training that Menma did. And seeing that's at least Naruto isn't a dick to his little brother. Well, not little brother. Brother Menma. I guess, Naruto can be somewhat kind-hearted. Which, yes, Naruto can be kind-hearted at some points. He doesn't really want to show he's kind all the time. He can be a tease. He can be a, kind of a murderer, killer at the same time. And he can be kind-hearted at the same time. All at the same time. Now, of course, this is where, Naruto is saying, "Yeah, go, Menma, beat up the Uchiha." This is where Sasuke grumbles and says, "Wow, he really doesn't want me to win." This is where Menma says, "You realize if I win, he's going to give up on the match I'm going to fight him against." That's where Naruto says, "I heard that. No, I won't. I will definitely show that I'm the strongest older brother." This is where Menma says, "We're the same age. Stop saying you're older than me." This is where Naruto says, "Are you 5, So, Naruto's actually 5'4" right now because he's only a 12-year-old. And he says, "Are you 5'4"? This is where Menma says, "Height doesn't fucking matter, this bullshit." And this is where Naruto says, "I think it does." This is where Menma says, Ugh. So, Menma is 5'2", while Sasuke is also 5'2". And, yeah. This is where, Menma says, "God damn it, he's annoying." This is where Sasuke says, "That is true. But let's keep going into the match." This is where they start fighting in taijutsu. This is where Menma managed to kind of get under what's called Sasuke's guard and knee him in the stomach and then punch him in the face. And this is where Sasuke does get punched. But this is where Sasuke does a roundhouse kick towards what's called Menma's kind of ribs. And not ribs, to his side of his body. Of course, hitting him towards what's called the no wait. So yeah, a roundhouse kick towards what we call Menma's side, and of course, Menma gets flown back. But of course, is where Menma kind of gets two kunais when he flips in midair, smashes him to the ground so he wouldn't hit like the wall and all that. And of course, that's where Menma says, he kind of spits out and says, "Huh, you're pretty good, Sasuke, but we might have to end this because this match is kind of going on too long." Sasuke says, "I agree." That's where Menma, he kind of like gets both of his kunais and adds what's called fire and also water chakra to it. And of course, is where Sasuke, he pulls out one what's called, well, tonsil from his back because Sasuke, and this one does have a tonsil. He was trying with Itachi about how to use the tonsil, and this is where Sasuke does add lightning chakra. This is where Kakashi is seeing this fight and wishes he can train what's called Sasuke and using the Chidori. But of course, then that technique would try to kill Menma, and if that happens, Sasuke would probably die from Naruto. So of course, Kakashi's happy that he didn't train Sasuke in that. But yeah. This is where, well, Sasuke says, "Menma!" And Menma says, "Sasuke!" Sends both of his kunai at Sasuke. And this is where Sasuke's blade managed to clash with both of what's called the kunais. And of course, this is where, well, Menma realized that this was a bad idea to add water chakra because lightning chakra is right now connecting with what's called Sasuke's, well, not Sasuke's arm, with one of, well, Menma's arms. This is where Menma kind of screams out in pain a little bit, and this is where Sasuke says, "Give up, Menma." This is where Menma says, "No, I won't give up." This is where Menma says, "Because that is my ninja way, and my ninja way would be never to give up." This is where, well, Sasuke says, "That's why I will never give neither." This is where both their blades are clashing together. But this is where, well, Sasuke kind of goes with his other hand sign and go through hand signs and says, "Lightning style, lightning paralyze." And this is where Menma was about to get hit with this until Menma says, "No, you don't." It's where when Menma was kind of getting his arm electricity and all that, this is where he drops that kunai, gets what's called, well, gets the the one palm strike that was going towards him from Sasuke, managed to block it by kind of earning, Menma kind of smashes his ground to the earth. Also, I just realized I had it on the wrong, wrong one. But gets his hand smashed on the ground, and of course, is where, well, he does that, and of course, is where, well, he adds, well, chakra into the ground, pulling out an earth, well, hand, and blocking the earth, well, the lightning palm. And of course, this is where both of them are struggling and fighting. And this is where Sasuke sends a symbol from his mouth towards what's called Menma's one of his arms. And of course, that did happen, which it was the one with the kunai with the fire blade. And of course, this is where Menma lets go of it. And the lightning blade was about to hit Menma. And it does hit Menma, but this is where Menma, he lets go from the lightning palm and uppercuts with the call, well, Sasuke in the, well, jawline with the earth, what they call fist. This is where, well, both of them are right now unable to battle when the battle is over. Because Menma kind of lands on the ground because he is, well, struck by the lightning attack. And of course, this is where Sasuke, he's unable to fight either, so of course, they are both knocked out. It is a tie. Well, a tie of being knocked out. So, of course, this is where everyone is cheering. Some people did bet on what's called Sasuke, some people did bet on, well, Menma. But Naruto was mostly betting on Menma because he was hoping his brother won. And saw that it was a tie. Realized he didn't get any extra money. He was kind of sad. But yeah. Next, it is Kaya versus, well, Rin Kurama. This is where Kakashi hears about her name and kind of cries a little bit because it reminds him of Rin. Rin, I forgot her last name. I think they really didn't tell what was Rin's last name. So I think I'm gonna just say Inuzuka because she did kind of have the marks of the Inuzuka a little bit. So of course, this is where, well, Rin Kurama is going against Kaya, And of course, they start fighting. This is where, well, Kaya uses light attacks towards what's it called, Rin. This is where Rin managed to do an illusion, a real illusion, to kind of make it be lava around each other. And of course, this is where Kaya feels death burning. But of course, this is where she shoots a light attack from her finger at what's called Rin, which Rin does get hit. But of course, Kaya was getting burned on the ground. And this is where, well, Rin did get hit, but then go forward towards what's called Kaya, hits her right in the face. And of course, this is where smashes her towards the wall. This is where Kaya gets up and sends multiple light attacks at what's called, well, Rin. This is where Rin is dodging right now, trying to dodge the light, but of course multiple light attacks still managed to hit her, and she was down to the ground. This is where Kaya says, "I'm sorry, Rin." Rin says, "It's okay. I know I wasn't going to be able to win against you. When I saw your name, it was complete bullshit." This is where Kaya says, "Yeah, that is true." Sorry, buddy. This is where, well, Rin says, "Well, good luck going against Naruto then." This is where Kaya gulps and says, "Why do you have to tell me about that?" This is where, well, Rin says, "Oh, it's because, you know, for being a good friend." This is where Kaya says, "I have no hopes against Naruto." But yeah. Next, what's it called, match. It is, well, what's it called? Tomari versus Shikamaru. Now, we'll go with the same original canon, but Shikamaru in this one will kind of make a darkness sword out of nowhere and kind of have, well, the sword up to Tomari's neck. Now, of course, this is where Shikamaru still give up because, yeah, and of course Tomari sees Shikamaru being a lazy fuck. But yeah, Conqueror will go against Shino because, yeah, and of course, this is where, well, the Kazekage was going to attack the Leaf Village. It's just you can see that everyone in this village is strong as fuck, especially the kid, who is basically a prodigy. Multiple daimyos are seeing that Naruto's the most prodigy kid out of everyone in this goddamn stadium. So yeah. Now, of course, this is where, well, the Kazekage is thinking maybe not to attack the Leaf Village, but instead marry his daughter with the Uzumaki kid, because he can see the Uzumaki kid is strong as fuck. And of course, the Raikage can also see the Uzumaki strong as fuck, and he was kind of, thank God that some Samui was not going against Naruto, because even if she uses her own lightning style against Naruto, it wouldn't matter because Naruto's lightning style is more potent and more corrosive because of his red lightning. His red lightning is the mixture of Kurama's chakra a little bit, but yeah. Not mostly Kurama's chakra, it's just a mixture of a little bit, so yeah. So, of course, with that happening, this is where, well, next match will be what's it called, well, yeah, Conqueror against Shino, and Conqueror was about to give up until Tomari told what's it called, Conqueror, don't you dare give up, you fucking make-up guy. This is where Conqueror just crumbles at Tomari, fights against Shino, but then get his ass beat anyway. And of course, Tomari was happy to know that her, well, younger brother, because Conqueror is younger, he's like the middle child, just got his ass beat by a bug guy. And she's happy because it was someone that actually uses bugs. So of course, she's gonna make fun of Conqueror every time. Because Conqueror wanted to make fun of her because losing to some lazy dude. But yeah. Of course, Conqueror, he says, "At least it wasn't Naruto. I don't want to fight against anywhere near him." So yeah. Of course, the next match will be the second round. Naruto, well, is there anyone else I'm missing? Oh yeah, you know what, I don't remember if I'm missing anyone else. But Naruto versus Tomari. Tomari, when she saw that, she gave up. She was like, "No, I'm not fighting against Naruto." Naruto says, "Come on, Tomari-chan, you don't want to go against me? Come on, it won't be as bad as you would think." This is where Tomari's blushing and says no. This is where Naruto says, "Aw, fine." Naruto's kind of on the run, but, not run. on the ring, but of course he's right now on the wall waiting for the next match. And the next match is Kaya versus Shino. Now Kaya managed to use light attacks against Shino and defeated him. In an instant, any bugs which tried to go against her or tried to drain her chakra, she will actually transform her body into light. Kind of similar towards the Pico Pico no Mi. No, she does not have the Pico Pico no Mi because she has to use chakra to try to transform her body into light. So yeah. Of course, this is where, well, her next match is, well, against Naruto. And she is kind of down bad, horrified. She's kind of like not really wanting to fight Naruto. Naruto says, come on, Kaya. You know, since we're teammates, we gotta fight each other. Oh wait, I forgot one match. Savannah. So Savannah is going against Kaya. Because, well, Savannah's like first match. Well, I forgot who was her first match. I think I mentioned it was Hinata? I can't remember who was it. But of course, I'm going to say Hinata kind of loses to Savannah. And Savannah was going against Kaya. Now, of course, Savannah, she activated her Byakugan and Sharingan and started fighting against Kaya. Now, of course, they are both equally matched. And of course, this is where Kaya actually managed to lose because she had half her chakra points kind of knocked out. And of course, she was kind of coughing up, like spit and all that. And of course, when she tried to attack what's called Savannah with a light punch, this is where Savannah had a, well, lightning punch towards the Kaya's face, knocking her out. So yeah, next is Naruto versus Savannah. Now, Naruto says, hey, Flower, you look great today, don't you? That's where Savannah looks at him and glares at him. Wait, it was Ino versus Savannah. I'm gonna just say Savannah still wins, but yeah. Of course, it was, well, Naruto says, you look great. That's where Savannah looks at him, just death glares, and Naruto gets scared. He says, why are you death glaring at me? What did I do to you? This is where Savannah says, first of all, I'm gonna beat your ass, making you sure that you would never call me Flower again. This is where Naruto says, fine. How about a little wager match? How about if I win, I get to call you whatever I want. Plus, you will marry me when I'm older. And make more Uzumakis after that. Or repopulate my clan. This is where Savannah blushes and says, what do I get if I win? This is where Naruto says, whatever you want. I will also stop teasing you and stop calling you. Well, that last one would not be, what's it called? You can marry whoever you want. This is where Savannah says, fine. But of course, this is where, well, Naruto knows that he has to repopulate the clan. So, yeah. Or he has multiple people to think, but yeah. Because he doesn't want to marry people who are weak and annoying to him. So, yeah. Savannah is someone that he really wants to because he thinks that she's adorable and all that. That's where Naruto says, then let's fight. This is where Naruto pulls out his sword while Savannah pulls out two Tontos. Well, not two Tontos. One Tonto and one kind of mid-long blade sword. It's kind of like a little bit bigger than the Tonto, but yeah. This is where, well, Naruto and Savannah starts fighting, and of course this is where Naruto is blocking with his sword and all that. And of course Savannah cannot get anywhere near Naruto. Naruto's speed is incredible. That's where Naruto says, are you done? That's where Savannah says, we're not done. She then hits the ground saying, water style. Water spring. This is where water around Naruto starts erupting, and then it kind of just splashes Naruto up into the sky. That's where Naruto goes through hand signs and says, thanks for the water style, Savannah. Water style. Water dragon. Multiple water dragons appear from the water geyser and smashes into Savannah. Savannah kind of cries out a little bit because she did get hit by like two water dragons. And then Naruto goes through hand signs and says lightning style. Lightning murder. Hits the water and hits Savannah. And of course she was getting kind of electricity around her body. And this is where Naruto was about to like hit her with the blade towards her neck. And this is where Naruto stopped. This is where Naruto says, give up. Savannah says, fine. It's where Naruto says, you know, you kind of lost for kind of doing that water geyser. Someone says, shut up. This is where Naruto says, oh, come on, adorable. Why are you going to be so angry to me? This is where someone says, "Shut the fuck up." This is where she can't really move her body much, and this is where Naruto does the same for Savannah because his lightning is very, well, potent. Way too potent for a normal person to handle. So yeah. Of course, he takes off the lightning from Savannah, and yeah. Now, of course, this is where Naruto's still in the stadium, and this is where the proctor says, the winner is Naruto Uzumaki. And, well, the second place is Savannah, and third place is Kaya. So, of course, everyone is cheering, yeah. Now, of course, this is where, well, we go into 10 days later. 10 specific days. Now, no, the invasion never happened, and so the Sand Village decided to go back to, well, the Sand Village. But before the Kazekage leaving, he did a request for a marriage between Tomari and Naruto. And of course, Tomari was kind of blushing and saying, why is that so important to you? Of course, the Raikage also had a marriage between Naruto and Samui. Or not Samui, wait. So yeah, Samui. So yeah, of course the Raikage kind of asked for that. This is where, well, Hiruzen talks to Naruto about it, and Naruto says, it'll be fine. I don't mind them. And of course, Shiroi and her team did kind of ask, Hiruzen if they can become Leaf Shinobis. Because they were from the Sand Village, and since Orochimaru's dead, they really don't want to go back to the Sand Village and how chaotic it's gonna be. So yeah, of course Hiruzen allows it, and yeah, but they have to be under look by, ambush. Until Naruto comes and says, I would kind of like, look over them. Besides, they can't defeat me anyway. This is where, Hiruzen says, don't be cocky, Naruto. Fine. But yeah, in the 10 Pacific days, Naruto is actually promoted to Jonin, while Savannah is promoted to also Jonin because of her powerful jutsus and her abilities, while Sasuke and, Memno were promoted to Chunin. Of course, Shikamaru was promoted to Chunin, and of course, other people were promoted, but yeah. Now, of course, Kaya and Ren, they were promoted to also Chunin, so yeah. Who else am I missing? But that is all. Now, of course, this is where, that happened. Now, what's it called? So, the retriever of what's it called, Tsunade's, the mission of it, she will still, be on the list because Hiruzen wants to give up and be in the Hokage. So, of course, he wants to give it to Tsunade. So, of course, Naruto and Menma, and, Naruto and Menma will be going again, going with what's it called, Jiraiya. Now, this is where two, Akatsuki members would be kind of following Naruto and Menma and Jiraiya. Now, this is where, they get to one of the hotels. Naruto, he can sense those, kind of rogue people kind of getting close. And this is where Naruto says, hey, Menma, I'm gonna be going out, so you stay here. This is where Menma nods, and of course, Menma is getting tired, going to sleep, until Naruto goes outside and sees the two gloved figures. One is Kasame Hagashe, while the other one is, an OC character, and this is just an Uchiha that kind of went rogue. Now, of course, this is where the Uchiha kind of looks at Naruto and says, you must be coming with us. Naruto Uzumaki. He gets his body just torn in half. Naruto has his blade awoken into his true form. Into the Rose Reaper. The Rose Reaper blade. This is where, the person's blood kind of didn't splatter out. It became like rose petals. So yeah. Of course, this is where, Kasame smiles and fights against Naruto. And of course, explosions happen because Naruto also did explosion release to kind of explode Kasame. And this is where, Naruto put it on his blade, and of course slices Kasame in half, and also destroying Samahara. Because Naruto's Kenjutsu is very powerful, and of course the explosions exploded him. Of course, he did go into, not KCM, but into a 9-tailed cloak. 2 tails to be specific, and that was a coin that fell down. Just ignore that, okay? So, of course, that happened. Now, of course, this is where Jiraiya came back. he was shocked to hear that Naruto went against two Akatsuki members and killed them, being Kasami and some random Uchiha. So, of course, with that, Naruto did take out the eyes of the Uchiha so he wouldn't be kind of like taken out by any others, and was about to give them to, well, Itachi if they ever, well, not Itachi, the Uchiha clan, if they ever go back. So, of course, they fast forward and go towards the gambling place and meet up with Tsunade. Now, Tsunade was drunken, and of course, she then kind of make fun of the Hokages, and the four Hokage, I remember, like, kind of says that you shouldn't be talking about my father like that. He gets angry and all that, and kind of acts like Naruto in original canon. And of course, Tsunade says, whatever, little brat, you think you can just be that, blah, blah, blah. And this is where Tsunade says, you're just small and you can't fight back. You weakling little bitch. Or Naruto says, I had enough about this. Naruto punches Tsunade in the face into his 9-tailed cloak. Well, into the 3-tailed cloak. He had enough of this shit. Bitch just like punches her across the whole village, knocking the fuck out. And while grabbing Tsunade and saying, let's go, Menmo. Menmo was kind of shocked. Now, Jiraiya, he knew something was going to happen like this. And of course, this is where Shizune was about to attack Naruto. Until, well, Jiraiya knocked her out, yeah. So they went back to Elite Village. Because Naruto, he doesn't like anyone, and I mean anyone, talking about his little brother like that. So yeah. Of course, Tsunade, she grumbles and kind of saying she will become the Hokage, but yeah. Now, she was shocked to hear that Naruto was a Jonin ranked ninja. So yeah, because how, well, powerful he is. Now, of course, this is where Naruto scared the shit out of Tsunade into becoming the Hokage. So yeah. So, of course, this is where I'm going to leave it off for part 5 of, well, what if Naruto was the reincarnation of Karma Akabane? Yes, I'm going to have to finish this in either this month or in April the 2nd. I don't know when. But yes, I will finish this. Now, bye-bye, potato, and bye.